Alright, my friends, we are on section 4.4, and today we are going to be multiplying with expanded form using that loved box method. So I hope you have your pencil that is specially designed to draw boxes and break apart numbers by their place value, because that's what we are doing today. Womp womp. Get ready, get set, because we are on our way to Box Method Town, USA. Choo choo! Like the last lesson, today I have steps for you to help you follow to be able to be successful. Our steps are first to break apart both of your numbers in your problem by their place value. Let's do that right now. I have my box made already, and I have my problem here. 9 6/10 times 17. So I'm going to break apart my problem by place value. Starting with my 9 6/10. My ones place has a 9. Ta-da! So my first place value is going to be my 9. Underneath that 9, I'm going to represent my next place value in our number, which in this case is 6/10. Do not forget that decimal. It is not the same as a 6. That is a 6/10. And then across the top here, I'm going to break apart my 17 in my place value. My 1 sits in my tens place, and my 7 sits in my ones place. That is how I break apart this problem by place value. And as it says in green, I'm going to put each number in each section outside of the box. Now, once I do that, I can now solve each of these problems mentally. I can use mental multiplication to solve all problems and fill in the box. Now, for this first problem here, this 9 times 10 is where I get this from for this box, because that's where the 9 and the 10 meet. 9 times 10 is 90. I can do that mentally in my head. My next product for this box here, if I go this way, I hit a 9. And if I go up, I hit a 7. So I'm going to multiply 9 times 7 to get this product. And I know my times table, so I know 9 times 7 gives me a product of 63. Now for this multiplication problem here, in this box, I look to the left and I see a 6/10. And I look up and I see a 10. So those are the numbers that I'm going to multiply to get my product. Now mentally I know 6 times 10 is 60. But from my previous lesson, I know that I have to count the number of digits behind my decimal and make sure that I have the same number of digits behind my decimal in my product. So I can see here that I have one number behind this decimal, so I need to have a decimal in there to give me a final product of 6.0 or 6 and 0/10 or just 6. And then my last multiplication problem, I look to the left again, I have 6/10. And then I look up and I have a 7. I use mental math to solve 6 times 7 is 42. And again, I see that I have one digit behind my decimal point, so I know my product has to mimic that same place, that same decimal. I need to have a decimal, I need to have one digit behind my decimal, giving me a final product of 4 2/10. So once I have filled out my box completely, my next step, according to my rules over here, say that I should line up the products in the boxes and add them together. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these products and I'm going to line them up, remembering that we always line up our decimal. So I'm going to do 90, 63, 6.06. I know my decimals live here. and then 4 and 2/10. I can add a 0 here so that everything lines up if you prefer. And then add them up, Buttercup. Ta-da! 163 and 2/10 is my final product. I already have the decimal exactly where he lives in the perfect place because I already have my decimals in here. Let's try another one. Again, you are free to pause the video, solve this problem. This is 24 times 13 and 79/100, and then restart the video in order to check your work. So I'm going to break apart my 24. As you see, I already have my box laid out. And I'm going to break apart my 24. I'm going to say I have a 20, 2 in my tens place, and 4 in my ones place. And then my next number, I have a 10. I have a 1 in my tens place. I have a 3 in my ones place. I have 7 tenths. And then I have 9 hundredths. So I'm going to solve all of these problems, these multiplication problems, and put their product in each box. 20 times 10. 200. 20 times 3. 60. 20 times 7 tenths. It's 140, and I know I need to have one digit behind my decimal. 20 times 9 hundredths. And with 2 digits behind my decimal is 1 and 8 tenths, or 1 and 80 hundredths. My next row, 4 times 10, is 40. 4 times 3 gives me a product of 12. 4 times 7 tenths. Well, 4 and 7 is 28. And then I need to have one digit after my decimal, giving me 2 and 8 tenths. 4 times 9 hundredths is 36. With 2 digits behind my decimal is 36 hundredths. So now I take these 8 products and I'm going to add them together. So I'm going to write these numbers down, making sure that my decimals line up. As I'm sure you know, there's a decimal behind every whole number. So I've taken these numbers and I put them in an addition problem, lining up my decimal. And again, as I've said many times, you can add digits out here. If you would like them to be lined up, you can add those zeros. It does not affect anything. Notice that there's no particular order that these numbers are in. Commutative property says I can add in any order. Why not do it? After you add up all of your beautiful numbers there, you should get a final product of 330 and 96 hundredths. Ta-da! And I know what you guys are all thinking. If it says I have to solve it using partial product or box method, do I have to? Can't I just do it the way I know how? And the answer is, yes, you have to do it with box method or partial product because you need to know how to do it. It is important that you have more than one tool in your tool belt to be able to pull out. You're feeling confident with multiplying decimals. We've done it for a few days now, so I hope that we're gaining some knowledge and understanding. You're probably also noticing it would probably be helpful if you had a better understanding of your multiplication tables. This might be a good time for you to start practicing if you do not know all of your multiplication tables by sight, by heart. Then it might be a good time to start that. Enjoy your evening, and I hope to see every single one of your smiling, beautiful faces tomorrow, especially yours.